My wife won a $9 million jackpot, filed for divorce, and kicked me out. But she forgot about the pre. The words felt like jagged glass scraping my throat as I repeated them silently, standing numb on the cracked asphalt of our driveway, a cheap black trash bag heavy with hastily grabbed jeans and t-shirts cutting into my palm. Just 24 hours ago, I'd been celebrating her unbelievable $9 million lottery win, popping cheap champagne, dreaming aloud about paying off the mortgage, maybe finally taking that Alaskan cruise we'd always talked about, her eyes sparkling with genuine tears of joy, or so I thought. Now the brutal California sun beat down on my head as her lawyer, a sleek shark in a tailored gray suit, smelling faintly of expensive cologne and condescension, pressed thick divorce papers into my other hand, his voice devoid of inflection. "Mr. Henderson, service is affected. You're hereby ordered to vacate the premises immediately. Your personal effects will be delivered later." My gaze snapped past him to the shadowed doorway of the house I'd painstakingly renovated over 5 years of weekends and evenings, the house where we'd planned a family, where she stood now, arms crossed, a chillingly serene smirk twisting her lips, the lips I'd kissed goodbye that very morning. "Vacate?" I choked out, disbelief warring with rising panic. "This is my home!" Her lawyer barely glanced at me. "Not anymore. The temporary restraining order filed concurrently prohibits you from coming within 500 feet of Miss Henderson or this property. Violation is a criminal offense." My blood turned to ice. Restraining order? Miss Henderson? My wife, ex-wife, chose that moment to speak, her voice colder than I'd ever heard it, devoid of the warmth I'd loved for a decade. "It's over, Mark. Clean break. I don't need you anymore." The sheer, calculated cruelty of it stole my breath. Don't need me? After I'd worked double shifts at the warehouse to cover bills while she chased her fleeting dream of Instagram fame? After I'd co-signed loan after loan for her failed boutique, debts I was still paying off? The win was supposed to be our salvation, our miracle. Instead, it was my eviction notice. She'd planned this. The realization hit like a sledgehammer. The sudden girls' weekend she'd taken last month? Probably meeting this lawyer. The weirdly specific questions about our finances last week? Reconnaissance. She'd hit the jackpot and instantly seen me as a liability, a burden to discard before she had to share a dime. The smirk deepened as she watched my world crumble, enjoying the spectacle of her loyal husband rendered homeless and penniless on the driveway of his own life. "You have 10 minutes to leave the property before I call the police," the lawyer stated flatly, checking his platinum watch. Humiliation burned through me, hotter than the sun. I threw the pathetic trash bag into the rusty bed of my pickup truck, the only asset solely in my name, its engine coughing pathetically as I fired it up. My hands shook violently on the steering wheel as I drove aimlessly, tears of rage and betrayal blurring the familiar streets. Where could I go? My savings were non-existent, drained by her ventures and daily life. My family lived states away. Friends? I'd neglected them, pouring everything into us. I was utterly adrift, a discarded piece of trash blown away by her $9 million win. I ended up parked in a desolate strip mall lot, engine off, silence screaming in my ears. The numbness was giving way to a suffocating despair. How could she do this? Was 10 years of marriage worth less than a lottery ticket? My phone buzzed, shattering the heavy silence. A text from my younger brother, Ben. "Heard about the win. Congrats, man. Drinks on you soon, yeah?" The cheerful emoji felt like a physical blow. He didn't know. How could he? I stared at the screen, the words blurring. How do you tell your brother your wife turned into a monster overnight? Before I could formulate a reply, another message from Ben popped up, its tone shifting dramatically. "Wait, Jen just called Mom, said something about divorce papers? What TF happened?" Then a third message, simple, stark. cutting through the fog of my despair like a searchlight. "Mark, you still have the prenup, right?" The prenup? My breath hitched. The ironclad prenup, drafted meticulously by her family's high-powered attorney when we got engaged. Her family insisted, convinced I, the blue-collar guy with student loans, was the financial risk, a gold digger in waiting. It was a bitter pill to swallow back then, a symbol of their distrust, but I'd signed it to prove my love wasn't about money. Clause 4B burned in my memory now. Any windfalls, inheritances, lottery winnings, or unexpected financial gains acquired by either party during the term of the marriage shall be considered marital property, subject to equal division, 50-50, irrespective of the source. She hated that clause. Just last year, when her influencer dreams seemed momentarily plausible, she tearfully begged me to rip the prenup up, calling it a symbol of distrust that choked our love. I'd refused, partly out of stubbornness, partly because some pragmatic voice deep down had whispered caution. Thank God. Her lawyer, in his arrogant rush to evict me and secure her windfall, had clearly overlooked it, assuming the prenup only protected her. They'd forgotten its teeth bit both ways. Hope, fierce and vengeful, ignited in my chest. I wasn't powerless. I drove straight to the rundown motel I could barely afford for the night, my mind racing. The untouched signed original was safe, stored in a safety deposit box at the credit union downtown, a relic I'd almost forgotten. But first, fueled by a cold, focused fury, I booted up my old laptop. If she thought she could erase me, she was wrong. I needed ammunition. I started digging. Not through her things, I was barred from the house, but through our shared digital life. Old emails, cloud storage, even our joint bank account statements I still had online access to. Another oversight in her haste. Hours bled away, the motel room air thick with stale smoke and desperation. Then I found it. Buried in PDF statements from 2 years back, recurring weekly withdrawals from our joint checking account, $200, $300, sometimes $500, labeled cryptically as cash or miscellaneous expenses. Hundreds of them, thousands of dollars, draining our limited funds, all funneled into lottery tickets, her lottery tickets, bought for years with our marital money, the very money that funded the jackpot she was now using to destroy me. The hypocrisy was staggering, but the knockout punch came minutes later. My phone chimed. Not a call, but a direct message request on social media from a blank profile. No name, no picture. Just a message with a single grainy screenshot. It showed a text conversation between her and her sister, dated the day before the life-changing draw. Her message was clear-cut. If this ticket hits tomorrow, Liam's gone. Already talked to Sandra, her lawyer. Got the papers ready to file ASAP. Freedom, baby. Her sister's reply, yes, finally, don't let that loser get a cent. The date stamp was undeniable. She'd not just reacted to the win, she'd orchestrated my exile before the numbers were even drawn. This wasn't spontaneous greed. It was premeditated betrayal, funded by marital assets. She'd gambled our money for her escape. I had the prenup. I had proof of the years of secret lottery spending using joint funds. I had the smoking gun text proving her malicious intent before the win. The despair vanished, replaced by a glacial, determined rage. I wasn't just claiming half. I was going to war. I called my own lawyer, a bulldog of a family law attorney named Rita Chen, who I used for a property dispute years ago. I laid it all out. The eviction, the restraining order, the prenup, the bank statements, the damning text screenshot. Rita listened silently, then uttered the most beautiful words I'd heard in days. Oh, Mark, she messed up royally. We don't just file for half that jackpot under the prenup. We sue her for fraud. We sue her for dissipation of marital assets. We go after her legal fees for that bogus restraining order. And She paused, a predatory edge in her voice. "I hear through the grapevine she just put a non-refundable deposit down on a $4 million oceanfront mansion in Malibu yesterday. Guess what? Legally, half of that down payment is your money. We freeze everything. Game on." I ended the call, staring out the motel window at the neon sign flickering in the dusk. The desolate strip mall looked different now. Not an end, but a beginning. The smirk she wore in the doorway, I pictured it melting into shock, then terror when the papers I filed landed on her pristine new marble countertop. She'd forgotten about the prenup. She'd forgotten about the trail she left. She'd forgotten that the quiet husband she thought she could discard wasn't going down without unleashing hell.